Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James,
And I'm Ryan.
and let's roll that intro. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Apostate Weekly, where we disseminate the news for you on cults and religions, and most especially the Jehovah's Witnesses that we like to keep you up to date with on the news. And we got some stories for you this week, and they're not all good.
Nope.
And
Unfortunately not.
and that's just the thing, though. Like, if you go to the JW.org website, they have their own news section. They only tell you their own fluff pieces, their own side of the story, but you never see what's really going on with them. And we like to make sure that the world knows what the real news is about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can't hide it from everybody.
No, they can't. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Jonathan and Doc and Mr. Look at the Trees.
Good
And
morning. Good morning.
No Talk Tony.
No talk, Tony. I like that. I like your name. Good morning, everybody.
And if it was Spanish, it'd be No Habla Tony.
Tone.
Tony. Ole.
Ole, Tone. No hablo. No hable.
Hey, Jonathan, how's it going, man? So where would you like to start out this week, Ryan?
Sheesh, we have so much. Should we start out with something like easier than the JWs? Maybe either Leah Remini, maybe something a little Scientology, so it's not just JWs. We could talk about what's going on with her.
Morning, Mom and Dad. Um,
Good morning. Good morning.
yeah, we could do that. We also have a story
I've got
on.
stuff too, so
Yeah, I got a bunch of different stories we can use or not use, whatever we want, because we got more than enough for today's show. So go ahead, start with what you got.
okay. So what I have is a very sad um, story. I'm sharing it right now. So this is about a young girl from Mississippi who just recently gave birth, and she's 13 years old. If you read through the story, obviously they had to change her names and the baby's name for safety reasons. But this young 13-year-old got raped in her front yard,
Oh,
got
jeez.
pregnant. Her mom didn't realize, because the girl didn't even realize that she could get pregnant. And it wasn't until she was sick and they had to take her to the hospital that they found out that she was indeed pregnant. And because they live in Mississippi, the only option they had for healthcare for her, if they chose to terminate, was, I believe, to go to Chicago. Like, that's just wild. Um, the mother of this child, the mother of the 13-year-old who was raped in her front yard, didn't have the money to take off work, to travel, to pay for so now they have a child. And I think part of this that's frustrating and upsetting to me is the lack of maternity care for people, regardless of their age, child or not, is the lack of services that they have. Number one, because obstetricians are leaving because of the crackdown on the healthcare system. So there's limited providers, there's racial disparity. I'm sure you all heard, which kind of goes into my next story. Part of the reason why I brought this up is because there was a baby whose head was removed from its body
Oh my
during
God.
birth. Yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh,
And
jeez.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to show is that in this country, we don't have good health care, just across the
No.
board for anybody. But then when we go into like maternal mortality rates and things of that nature, it gets really abominable, and it really gets bad and disparaging when we look at the differences between our Black friends and their community and the disparaging results. Here we have this poor Black woman's baby's head removed from its body amongst a plurality of issues that seems to happen to people of color. They don't get listened to, their pain is not believed, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I know this is very sad and depressing, but I just tell people these stories so that way they can understand why it's so important that they are communicating with their local governments, with their community, and helping to show officials why it's really important that we start protecting children, mothers, etc. So that is that story. The links are in the description if you would like to read them for yourself. I'm not going to show you everything.
Yeah, I was actually reading that story about that girl who got raped. And one of the things I found interesting about it was that in the story, it says that in Mississippi, there are laws for rape victims to get an abortion. However, the problem comes in when you have these lawmakers that are making these all-encompassing laws and they leave a lot of confusion in on it. The doctors are afraid to act and do what's necessary because they're worried about lawsuits and getting suits for malpractice or whatever that could just totally sink them. So
Right.
it's beyond just the healthcare issue. It's going into the medical professional field and telling somebody. It would be like somebody coming to my job telling me how to do my job. No, get the fuck off my job. Let me do it.
Right.
I know what the hell I'm doing. And this is what these lawmakers are doing to these doctors, is telling them how to do their
Exactly.
jobs when they need to be told, no, motherfuckers, you need to get off my job. Let me take care of my patients and you take care of running the government like you're supposed to. They don't need to
Exactly.
be intertwined like that. Now, granted, yes, we have to have laws for these medical and all these things. I get that. But
Right.
you have to have
We live
people
in a
that are in
community.
those
We have to
fields.
have right.
You have
Right.
to
We
have
live in a
people in those
society. We have to
fields.
listen to each other.
Yes, exactly. The ones in those fields need to be giving the input on what those laws should be, not some, conservative Christian who believes in, talking snakes and donkeys from an ancient fairy tale book telling you what to do with your body.
Yep. And and I think that you brought up a good point. These fail safes, oh, you can still get an abortion. They're just to calm the nerves of the people who made these laws so they can sleep at night. That's all it
Yeah.
is. We put in fail safes so people can get help if they need it. No, you didn't. That's just
No.
so you can feel good about yourself and feel like you did something. You're doing nothing. You're not protecting anybody. You're not helping anybody. And if you really wanted to help people, you would have programs for them when they're going through pregnancy and maybe don't have the means to support themselves or a baby, with food, with shelter, healthcare, you name it, and after the fact. So that way the parent can actually get a job and they still have a means of support to be able to do everything they need to do to be able to provide for their family. It's
Exactly.
it's deplorable. Yeah, it's deplorable.
Yeah.
These little rules are just so they can lay their head at night and not worry, but they
Yeah.
should be worried.
They should be. Exactly. Because
Mhm.
we're coming after those laws. They
That's
need to
right.
be they need to be changed. They need to be made that to a context that's actually helpful and not these versions that are harmful to people. And we can see the harm that they're already doing.
Yeah, agreed. It does need to overhaul.
Yeah. It needs to be gutted.
It's I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't either, but it's
Uh,
terrible. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on. This
Move
one
on.
was another one that'll piss you off too. So just get ready for this, okay?
Ugh. Brace
Yeah,
yourself.
yep. So there's these GOP lawmakers who are using Noah's Ark to justify harming refugees with circular saw blades. Talk
What?
about fucked up. Okay, so there was a news story about circular saw blades that were inserted between the buoys, and you can see it here on the screen. I'll make it bigger here. And if you see there where that guy's hand is, that's like a that chainsaw type of blade that they hid inside these buoys on the Rio Grande River.
It's literally a
And
circular saw. It's
yeah,
it's
and the purpose is to keep refugees and people from going down these rivers. Okay?
but life matters, right? Life matters, I think
Yeah,
you said.
their whole pro-life thing, right?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Except for when it's a child of a different color, then their life does not matter. We don't care if they die in contraptions like these.
Or a different religion or different anything other than but who they are.
Yep.
And so, and this is, it's just so messed up that they want to try to cite the Bible as
Ugh.
reasons for them doing these things. Trying to find exactly
But that's
where
typical. I mean, y'all have seen what's happening in Maui, right? With the wildfires spreading through Hawaii. It's
we're
really bad over there. Like people are in the water and fire just everywhere around them. And a church building, one church building was saved from the fire and the Christians are like, "Look at what God does. Look at what God does. He saved a concrete church building."
yeah.
They will
Oh, I
use the
know. I
Bible as a weapon to uplift themselves and put themselves on a pedestal. Like, get off your damn high horse. Just get off of it, please. Your soapbox. Sit down, take several seats, and listen to people.
yeah. And they it's just so mind-boggling that they would try to use this book as a way to justify putting up these devices in rivers in an attempt to literally harm people. You know, you're not talking about something that's going to just, you know, maybe give them a little cut. This stuff can kill them.
I mean, it's already worked. I'm pretty sure there's already been people who've at least one I've heard that died in it.
You know, and I've been hearing all these reports. I'm sure you've been hearing the same reports I've been, especially the last few days, how, you know, it's coming out now that Christians are literally rejecting the teachings of Jesus, the liberal
Oh, yes.
version of Jesus. And
Yes, I wanted to talk about that as well.
and
Yes, yes,
how
yes.
they're more pushing for their conservative version of what they want him to be, more of the, you know, taking whips in the temple type of Jesus, not the loving, caring, you know, liberal version. And they literally are rejecting all of that. So it's like, well, what the hell? Why are you even following these religions then if you're just gonna, you know, I know it's all made up anyways, but they don't think it is. So
Mhm.
why are you following that if you're gonna just throw it out the window anyways? It makes no sense.
Good question. I'd love to know the answer.
But again, this book, they use it for power. They use it for control. They use it for manipulation.
Yep.
And that's all it boils down to.
It's the weaponization of holy texts. And the frustrating thing to me about it is it's not even their holy texts. Like they're taking other people's culture that they don't understand. They don't understand the context of it, and they're twisting and manipulating it to fit their agenda. And either you
Mm-hmm.
fit inside of that box and you're one of them, or you're on the outskirts and you're the other. You know, you're the Canaanite. We're the Canaanites and they're the pure and true Israelites, is how they see
Yeah.
themselves. And they'd be happy to reignite what we see in the beginning of the Bible, the fights between like Moses' people and the Midianites and how they take control over the cities like Jericho. We know that didn't happen, but that to me is how Christians portray themselves. They'd happily see this country turn back into the true Israel. It's
Yeah.
really
Well,
it's a
it,
terrifying thought that
it even wouldn't turn into that because it would turn into their version of it, not the version in the book that they claim
right,
to follow. So
because they
even
don't
then,
understand the context.
no, they don't.
They don't know their history.
And that's the whole problem right there.
It is.
You
It really
know,
is.
the
They're out
gaslighting
of
is just
touch.
enormous.
Mm-hmm. And their preachers have gaslit people so much that they don't even understand Jesus' principles and his talking points. They think he's too liberal. Like,
Yeah.
when did you think you'd see the day where Christians said that Jesus was too liberal? What?
I know, right?
I don't even know where to go. I don't know where to go with that.
I don't either. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you got this guy. And don't get me wrong. I think the teachings about loving your neighbor, you know,
There's
helping
so much shit.
others, doing, you know, there's some good things in there, you know, if you take it for what it is. And
If
they're
you
just
take it
wanting to
just for
throw all
literature.
that shit out the window. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's get rid of the good shit and just only have the bad. Well,
It's
you want to
weird.
talk about the bad? Let's go into the Old Testament. There's a whole lot of bad over there.
Right. And that's what I fear. I fear that they'll get back into that whole Old Testament and think like that's what we want. We want that God back. It's
Yeah.
like it's so weird. It's like Jesus brought them in to Yahweh, and now they're like, we don't really like that guy. We want that old bastard. We want that ODB, that old dirty bastard.
Yeah.
To
We
come
want the
in
guy that
and
is
murk
willing to
everybody.
stone his own children to death if they're not a virgin on
Yes.
their wedding day.
Right? It's
You
so
know?
like when you think about it though, it's so wild because Jesus is the only means for them to get like a hold of Yahweh. That was their entry door. And now they're like, kick that guy to the
Yeah,
curb.
exactly.
Oh my God. Anyhow, sorry. That's
I
funny,
know.
man.
But I mean, it's
We must
hypocritical
be living
because
in the last days.
yeah. Because by their own theology, they're actually kicking themselves out of heaven by their own theology.
They don't know what the hell they're
And they
talking
don't even
about. If
see
you
the
really break
irony
it
in their
down,
idiocy.
no. Nope. No. No. Because they can't put two and two together because they don't have the critical thinking skills in order to do it. They've not been trained how to think about it.
Oh
Anytime
no,
they're
look.
uncomfortable, they fill the gaps with their God or with their Jesus or whatever. Anytime they're uncomfortable, they just fill it in with some bullshit.
Don't be using that W word. We don't talk about woke here.
We're awake. We're not woke. We're awake.
And that's why we watch the tower.
That's right. Amen.
Da-dum-tish. Anyways, let's move
Anywho,
along here.
what do you want to go on to next?
Well, you already brought it up a little bit, so let's talk about the wildfires in Maui.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I actually brought up an article directly from JW.org's website about these fires, and I did this for a reason.
Oh, they
So,
already are using it. They're already using their propaganda.
well, it's not so much that they're on the propaganda machine. It's really not that bad
Okay.
on
Okay.
their
Good.
news story about it. Okay,
At
really, it's
least not
not.
yet.
I'm going to give them that. Okay, because you know
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
they're you know because but here's the thing. Here's the kicker, though. Okay, look at this section right here. Effect on our brothers and sisters.
What are they
Notice
going
how
to
they
do
don't
about it?
talk about anybody else but their brothers and sisters. Okay.
Right.
No brothers and sisters have been killed or injured. Good. I'm glad
They
nobody
only care about
have
their
been killed.
colonized brothers and
You
sisters.
know,
They're whitewashed brothers and sisters.
right. And, you know, all they talk about is their stuff. 243 publishers were evacuated or displaced. 24 homes of publishers were destroyed, one sustained minor damage, and no kingdom halls or theocratic facilities were damaged. Okay, fine. It's all well and good. But what about the rest of the community? What about them?
Right?
You know, what about the people that
Where's
you're
the
supposed
love,
to
the
be saying
concern?
that you love so much that you want to convert them to your cult. You know, you don't give two shits about them. And even then, when you go in to provide what you call humanitarian aid, you're not going to be giving it to the people other than the witnesses in that area. And then on top of that, the help that they will send to rebuild their homes and whatever, they'll probably be collecting all those insurance checks in lieu of the people getting them too to get back up on their feet. So it's just another Ponzi scheme for Watchtower to come in, make it look like they're doing something wonderful, but collect a payday at the end of the day, and everybody else still is screwed. Yeah, you might have gotten a new house out of it, but you're still screwed because I could have had a new house and probably the insurance money. I keep the insurance check. You build my
Right.
house for me, and now I'm better off to get back, to your meetings and your preaching and stuff because now I have a little extra money in my pocket and then I could
I
also
have some
contribute
security.
back to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, they just shoot themselves in the ass all the way through. And it's just ridiculous.
Yep. K. Fred makes a good point. No Kingdom Halls were damaged because they sold them all.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I
that's good.
mean,
That's good.
I can't say that that's not accurate. That could be very much the case. But so sad. And like people are going to open up their wallets. Like all these little heartstrings that they pull on also pull on the purse strings.
Oh
And
yeah.
this just gives everybody, all the Jehovah's Witnesses, wet ass purses. I just came up with that, but seriously, like we're talking whop, whop, whop. I am going to spread my purse legs and just pour out that coin.
Do I need a
Macaroni
bucket and a
in the
mop?
pot. That's some wet ass purse strings. Seriously though. And that really like breaks my heart to think about all these people, the Jehovah's Witnesses, who are people who want to do good things, right? They're in this organization because they're being told they're doing something good. So they see this as an opportunity to show God, like, hey, even though I can barely afford rent, I'm going to send $20 because they use that story about the person in the Bible who gave what they didn't have. And that's how we should behave. We should be humble like that. And I really wish we knew the numbers of how much money they actually rake in when they do these kind of media campaigns.
And now we can get that wet ass Percy.
I'm telling y'all, get your mops ready.
Oh, jeez. That was hilarious.
Oh, that was good. Oh, and by the way, I know this is switched to the wrong side, but I got this t-shirt from Jonathan. It says I survived 1975 and all I got was old. And I thought that was freaking hilarious because yeah, I'm here 40 something years later.
Well, I wasn't even
end.
born till after 75, so you could see how well that went. I'm still here.
You shouldn't have. Yeah, you shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have been here.
You doubly shouldn't have been here with everything that you survived. Boy,
Oh,
maybe
I
you're
know.
Jesus.
Maybe.
You're the miracle child.
But unfortunately, I have an older brother, so my mom wasn't giving a virgin birth.
I mean, I thought you can become a virgin just by like waiting a few weeks. Wait, are you saying I wasn't a virgin when I got married? Wait a minute.
You should be stoned to death then.
Don't tell anybody. And I had a child out of wedlock. Oh my God.
You should be doubly stoned. And I'm not talking about with the weed either.
Get your stones out, guys. And here at Apostate Weekly, it's only $5 per stone. You can send that right to our PayPal or Cash App, Apostate Weekly. Hit us up. Get
and
your
they're
stones.
all the size of a 10-pound bowling ball.
Just like the ones that are
because we like to make it count.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go out with a bang.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks, Jonathan. And I think you can get them from Jonathan. He probably has a link. I don't know if he can share it here, but
Yes, if you have that link, Jonathan, drop it in the comments and we'll put it in the description for the video.
yeah. I should probably have the link because I'm the one who bought it, but yeah.
You
Yeah,
would
no.
think,
You would think, but yeah, no. I'd have to search for it.
but you're not organized like that.
This ain't that kind of show.
This is the wet
Oh,
ass Percy show.
this is the wet ass Percy show. Get
Uh,
them pouring coins going. I have one more story that I wanted to share really quick, and we don't have to talk about it much, but I actually came across this guy who is a former Jehovah's Witness. I was searching something, and I don't know how or why it came up, but it looks like he is somebody famous. And I think that this is either from, I don't think it's England. I'm thinking like maybe Ireland, possibly, but ITV. Maybe it is Ireland. But yeah, so he's a former Jehovah's Witness who's also a star. And just like we did with Rebecca Vardy, showed how she, who was somebody raised in the Jehovah's Witnesses, um, dealt with some harmful things that happened to her, became an influencer, and then one day decided to actually talk about her childhood. Here we go. Another child Jehovah's Witness coming out, telling about his story. And I think this is great because it's visible. People are going to see it because they know this person as a star, but don't realize that their history. So yeah, y'all should check that out. The link is in the description if you're interested in watching.
and Sam says that's England, so
Oh, it is England? Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. I wanted to watch it, but I just found it, so I haven't had a
oh,
chance to watch it yet.
and we do have one more story to go over before we cut off today.
Okay.
And this is actually out of New Zealand. We both had this story and we almost completely forgot to talk about it. About
Oh
how
yeah, duh.
there's
That's the biggest story.
11
It's
pedophiles
the
in
biggest
the Jehovah's
story.
Witness church.
It's
And
the
we
story
almost
that
like,
like both of us had to talk about.
I know, right? And we almost both forgot to do it. But hey,
My
we
dearest
got there
ma'am.
in the end, and that's all that matters, people.
That is all that matters.
So
Armageddon didn't happen yet.
this is out of New Zealand, which is off of Australia, and they have found 11 active witnesses that have child sex abuse convictions or serious
This is
allegations
big.
made against them. And here, this is a big point, and this is why we need to expose these people, because right
Mhm.
here it says most members of the religion appear to have no idea of who the offenders are. That means those offenders are still sitting in kingdom halls with other children. They're out in the
Yep.
neighborhoods knocking on doors with other children, and they're just being allowed to roam free and continue doing what they're doing.
Yep.
So I'm glad these people were found. I hope they get prosecuted. I hope they get the book thrown at them, because this is just an out of control situation. And we can see we've been talking so much about the Pennsylvania uh, um not grand jury, but
Yeah,
the
not the grand jury
general,
investigation.
it's not a grand jury, it's a the general, oh man, I can't even think of the oh jeez.
The attorney general?
Attorney General, thank you.
I thought it is a grand jury investigation though. Pennsylvania grand jury investigation.
Is it? I don't know. I don't ever remember reading that. So, but I could be wrong. But anyways, but with what's going on in Pennsylvania with the Australian Royal Commission, yes, that was some years ago now, with all the other stories popping up in the news from California to Illinois to Montana to the ICSA in England. I mean, there's so many stories about child sexual abuse and the problem that the Jehovah's Witnesses have with it within their organization. It's a worldwide problem. It's not
Mhm.
localized. And that's why this is so important to get out, because these children need to be protected from this. Not just the children in the Jehovah's Witness ranks, but the children in the communities as well need to be protected from these pedophiles, and they need to be registered and known in their communities who they are, so parents have the option and chance to protect their children and not know that they have one knocking at their door trying to convert them to their cult.
Yeah. And I think that people should also take note that Jonathan and I are doing some investigation along with some friends into Robert Hendricks, and he purports how important the ministry is in like the prison system. And again, they're going, they need rehabilitation. I agree with
Mhm.
that. I don't think that they should sit in there and rot. And if Bible study helps them, that's great. But he is trying to say how, um, they go into the prison system, they're helping people. We feel, Jehovah's Witnesses feel compelled to do that. It's something they want to do. But meanwhile, there's no resources for this person when they leave the prison system, and they are just welcoming them open arms into the community, having no idea there's a possibility they're putting this person in a position where they could harm children, where they're going door to door, where they could harm strangers' children who have no clue this person has just been, we have no idea what they've come out for, what they've been in there for. So it's pretty disgusting how they use this as a means to like say they're doing something good for the community when it's just brainwashing. So anyway,
Yeah.
they're just controlling behavior.
Yeah.
Any system can control behavior with enough input and brain like washing.
Yeah. Sam makes a good point. They're only trolling for numbers. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about those numbers. How many people can they get into their cult and keep that money flowing
And
so
the
they can keep
hours.
paying for these lawsuits?
Mm-hmm.
And
Putting
that's
vulnerable
really,
people into like making them go into a prison or a jail to talk to people, even though maybe they don't feel comfortable, but they feel like they have to do it. God wants them to do it. It's just really demented, if you ask me. Like, these people need real help. And yes, it is a grand jury investigation. Just, it says a
okay.
Pennsylvania grand jury investigating child
Okay.
sexual abuse in the Jehovah's Witnesses community has, this was that when it charged 5 people. We now know that it's up to
Right.
14
But
suspects. But
thanks for clarifying that.
oh
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
no, there's so much information, and like
Yeah. And
I
keeping
I
it.
forget shit from day to day because I feel like I'm being inundated
Yeah.
with just facts all the time.
Yeah. And like, and for like you and me, we were always looking up these stories, and not just for the Pennsylvania, but for everything. It's just hard to keep it straight in your head sometimes.
It really is. It's difficult.
Yes. So, but anyways, that's all we got for you this week. Unless you had something else you needed to do. I'm sorry.
Actually, just quickly, so like I said, Jonathan and I, we are going to be doing, we're hoping Saturday morning, we're going to be doing a live on Robert Hendricks with some friends joining us. And we're just going to discuss like some of the tactics that they employ with these puff pieces they've been putting out. And also, just so you guys know, Rabbi Mike and I have started our own channel called The
Oh,
Adults Table.
oh
And we're
yes,
going to
that's right.
have, yeah, I know. And I need to do better with like putting out and telling people what I'm working on because
Well,
I work on a lot of
I
stuff.
saw that on your Twitter, and I went and I saw your little intro video there, and I've already subscribed to the channel, so I'm looking forward to this because you and Rabbi Mike do some excellent content.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I really enjoy having the conversations I do with him. Number one, just because he's knowledgeable, but number two, like, he doesn't look at me like I'm a dope because he does know so much. He's a scholar, he's working on his PhD, but he doesn't ever look at me like when I can't pronounce a word like I'm an idiot. Like, he just laughs with me, and he has a great sense of humor, and he has a really good way of, I think, explaining things. He explains things in a way that makes sense for me. So we're hoping to have all kinds of conversations, from like sex in the Bible to, rape, theological conversations, you name it. If there's anything that you guys want to suggest, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But please like and subscribe. We truly appreciate it. And also
Yes.
look for Apostate Coalition's live stream link. Hopefully I'll get that up today. Like I said, that will be on Saturday morning if you can make the live. If not, watch the replay.
Yes.
I think
And
that's all I have.
one last thing I want to say too is you and I've been working on a channel intro for Apostate Weekly as
Oh,
well.
yes, yes,
That we're
yes.
I'm trying to get finished editing and get up, and it'll be a great tool to share it with others so that way they'll know what the channel is all about, because it's just a brief introduction as to what the
Right.
channel is all about, what we do, and when to find us. So we're going to put that up as soon as we get it done, so be looking out for that as well.
Oh, yeah. I guess I could really quick share the Discord link again, since that does die, everybody. It does die every couple weeks, I believe. Just because
Yes,
we try to keep it like a safe channel. Everybody's welcome, but no bullshit. We love LGBTQIA. Everybody's welcome. So keep it lovely.
absolutely.
No, but we have different rooms where you can have other kind of conversations that you might not feel comfortable having out in like the general chat room. So there's lots of that too.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different safe spaces that you can go into and express yourself, or if you don't want to, don't.
Hmm.
We're not trying to make you do anything you don't want to do either. So come join
Yeah,
the chat. We will treat you with respect and care, and we will be sure to try to guard your safety as far as what you feel comfortable with as well. So
exactly. We're doing our best, y'all. Just remember,
yeah, yeah,
I'm making my way downtown, walking like I'm doing my best that I can with the
yeah,
knowledge that I have, and I know that it's like not that well rounded, but I'm getting there. And if we can just all have patience with each other and just realize we're all coming from a very similar situation, and just yeah, just keep that in our hearts, even with the JWs, and realize that they're just being misguided and they're vulnerable. It's really sad, but maybe we can help people. That's
yeah.
that's the goal. Let's help people.
And we also realize that everybody has lives. So if you come in and chat for a little bit and don't chat for a while, we get it. It's okay.
That's all right,
So
Haven. I
it's all
forget what
good.
I'm doing half the time. So
So
it is. Yeah. Thank
so
you. And
don't
we appreciate you all. Like everybody in here. Like we
yeah.
see very like same similar people every week. And it's just fun. Like this is good for me. I don't know how it is for you, but it works for me. So
Oh,
I
it's terrible
appreciate
for
it.
me. I'm sick of it now.
I'm out of here.
Peace.
Gonna go get some WAP. He's gonna go get
This
that WAP.
Oh man, I'm gonna be dreaming about that today.
uh, yeah, dream about them wet ass
that
purse strings. You gotta
that,
just
that
open it up,
those wet ass
dump it out.
Percy's.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like those old school coin purses where you squeeze them and
Yeah,
it like puts them
exactly.
out.
Yep.
That needs to be like a whole commercial for Apostate Weekly. Like, open up your purse, some wet ass person. All right. Anyhow,
Okay.
anyhow.
Anyways, let's cut it off there. We're gone over time anyway. So
On a high note, going
on a
out on a
high
high
note.
note.
Thank you everybody for joining us again this week on Apostate
Love
Weekly
you.
for our wet ass Percy's. And we will be back next week to bring you some more wet ass Percy's.
Did you get that link, Jonathan? Make sure you put that link in there. Yeah, and join us for next week. We'll be here every week, every Wednesday morning at
Yep.
8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
We love you in the discussion. We do. We
Yep.
really do. We appreciate your input and your opinion. It helps us, and we hope
Yes.
that we can maybe in some way help you as well.
Exactly. Thank you again, everybody. Love y'all. Have a great
Love ya.
week. And we will see you next week. And remember, apostate your way.
Apostate your way. Bye.
Bye.